Hello, dear Nanobackers, and welcome back to another episode of Daily Life in Neo Eden. My name is Mark.
And my name is Max.
From Woodpecker Games.
Woodpecker Games.
And we will spoiler you even more with the world of the Nanoether.
Today we will blow your mind. You will listen to things you never heard before.
You never would like to hear. At least.
Your whole humanity will turn, and you will never find back to your normal life after that.
Yeah, we hope.
You're ready for this?
Very good teaser, Max. I won't cut it out. I'm sorry. Okay, and then is now we got a lot of really interesting questions. This time it gets really in depth about the Nanoether. This is something which Tony is really interested about, and we don't want to not answer these questions because the Nanoether is something which we love to talk about. But we have to be cautious. We don't want to spoil you too hard. We just want to spoil you a little bit to make it more understandable for you, but not tell you all the twists and ideas of our story. This will be hard.
But I will one thing to advise first. Maybe it's better to skip the video when you really want to know anything and you want to explore a lot of things. It comes immer deeper. We tell a lot of stuff.
Yeah, but on the other side, we won't spoil you the story of the game. So we will just we will tell you about the world, but you can just keep on watching if you're just interested in the world. It's not so terrible. So let's start. Tony L asks, how is the Nanoether provided? Is the Nanolith hosting it, or are there some kind of servers from Babel hosting it? Very good question.
The good thing is we're all hosting that.
Yeah,
that's a really important thing. We talk about that. I forgot always the English word. You put air into
you breathe
and breathe out, and always when you breathe in and breathe out, the nanomachines make a backup from your personality, from all what you have.
Yeah, but it's not only the lungs which are affected by the nanomachines. The nanomachines you got in your body are getting exchanged with the nanomachines outside of your body all the time.
Yeah,
breathing is one thing, but they can also enter and leave your body on many other ways.
Yeah, but you breathe out all of these small things with your personality, with your feelings, what you have, and simple to say, it's like a cloud they're having, and this cloud is we can say the Nano Eater, and that means the Nano Eater is sometimes a little bit dangerous, sometimes not so dangerous, because it's expand a little bit of them where you live and what the others around you putting into this ether. But Mark, make it to a round thing, what I say.
So the main concept about this Nanoether thing is that it's not centralized. I mean, imagine it more like if we have this crazy nano machines, they also have a little bit of hard drive space, a little bit, just a little tiny bit, but they are remembering the stuff where they have been. And we imagine the Nanoether as something which is from a psychic standpoint, it's active. It's something which changes and which develops itself depending on who's being part of this area. So it's very strongly influenced by the idea of Carl Gustav Jung's collective unconsciousness. So that everybody has let me just talk about this for a brief moment. The idea of, or one of the main ideas of the collective unconsciousness of Carl Gustav Jung is that unconsciousness is not just some strange magical thing which is happening in your psyche in another space, which is a different plane than the material plane. Yeah, but he says, as a Carl Gustav Jung, this Swiss psychoanalytic guy, he says that during the biological development of your brain, certain stages of brain development are hit. And those brain development this really like physical, organical development stages are the same for all human beings, or mostly the same. Like when you are really small, like an embryonic development state, your brain starts to develop, and every human has to go through this process. So it's just natural, and it's biologically and physically natural that all people share certain stages of psychic development. So this is the very like non-spiritual and non-like crazy magical explanation, which he says this is collective unconsciousness. Like everybody has the same fundament of development, and this is something which we are taking up with the nanofragments. But it gets much more magical, so to say. If we have like developed consciousnesses and unconsciousnesses, is this the correct word? Unconsciousnesses? But whatever, you know what I mean. And they are interacting via a technology which like saves for short moments just splinters or little parts of this consciousness or this unconsciousness which they were part of. Then these nano machines are creating a new space in which all those consciousnesses come together, and unconsciousnesses. So lots of nesses here, and they building up a new space, and this new space which develops out of this psychic states of a lot of individuals. This space is this is the cyberspace of our reality. Like it is a cyberspace. It's a space in which the techniques, the technology, the nanomachines, and the servers are communicating with each other. So imagine it like a BIOS or an internet kind of system, just technical information, data flows, data information, server senders, like a lot of this kind of stuff, but visualized and like feelable, like for humans. The thing which you would see, the thing which you would feel, is a psychic mirror of every individual which is like surrounding this space, or which is part of this space there.
Yeah, and that means and it's really simple. Our cyberspace is a little bit more, because these emotions that you put in there, that can be control this space. So it can be happen in our universe that you can anything you make like that, and you can transform the nanomachines in the air to fire. But sometimes it can be happen that the Nano Eater transform things to happen in our things. So things come from the Nano Eater in our reality, and the nano machines give them the power to make it to a physical object.
Yeah, this is right. Like it's not just so that humans are like acting towards the Nano Eater, but the Nano Eater itself has also some acting power. Like it can sometimes humans have to react to the powers of the Nano Eater. And sorry, Max, you want to say something else?
You can finish, and then I
because
interrupt
there was good. So that's how it always works, interrupting each other. And there was one more question about can people exist, or can someone exist only in the Nanoether? And this is a really interesting question. You know the cyberpunk concept from Cyberpunk 2077, for example, like these big AIs which are living inside the net. I don't want to spoil, but I can totally imagine that this kind of existence is possible in our Nanoether as well, because theoretically you would have the server power by the nanolith to have a whole consciousness or a whole personality like transferred into the Nanoether. And if somebody has a strong connection to the Nanoether, he could also like live on there, or just stop living in the real world and just only live in this Nanoether world. So yeah, could totally be possible that there is like somebody living there. Yeah. Max?
No. Sorry.
Okay. Just a good inspiration, right, coming up right now. Let's talk after the video about it.
Yes.
And it's also like this. You can also like imagine the Nanoether could be so active psychically, from a psychic standpoint. It could be so active that it's just creating something which is living there and with which humans could interact. So here it's always the idea of the nanolith and of the Nanoether, that technology and consciousness are something which merge at some point. And to explore these borders is part of our of our artistic visions. Yeah, it's an old sci-fi trope, but it's really interesting to explore.
Really interesting, and we love it. And
let's keep it like in this not too concrete way, or
yeah, I think so too, because so things can come out of the Nano Eater, but also things can go into the Nano Eater. And that was a question how people can interact with the Nano Eater. You can interact with the Nano Eater when you have a strong, I think we call it mindset on English. When you have the power to transform, then when you can log into this Nano Eater with your strength. But there are also a lot of things made by the Sulu or made by the humans, technology things that help to get into the Nano Eater. For example, there is the Sulu makes something like that when we don't talk about that.
No, let's not talk about this. Yeah,
we don't talk about that. Sorry.
Okay. Then there was a question regarding the Zulus. Like, Tony, you got a lot of questions, so we will just we will only take a few of them, like those which are the less, not the most spoilery. So, where's the spaceship now? Where's the Sulu mothership? Let's come and it goes on. Is it in Neo Eden? Did people took it apart? How did they took out the nanolith from there? So, first off, everything which is in Neo Eden is like organized, structured human society. Everything which is outside of Neo Eden is a big question mark, as well for the people inside Neo Eden as for the players. So there is no, we can say so much.
Let's break it like that, guys. You see, when you play Final Fantasy VII, there comes the point you leave Midgard.
Yeah.
Sometimes, maybe.
And then we will like show you all the open world situation surrounding New Eden. Then what is about the spaceship? Like there's rumors about the spaceship. Yeah, we know, or that's what people remember, that when it came down to Earth, it crashed into the planet and destroyed the whole Earth. But what happened to it? Where is it lying? How big was it really? Where is it? Those are all questions which are up for the story to be explored. And the same thing about how did they take out the nanolith from the mothership? It's a really good question, but it's fun for you. It will be fun for you to explore on yourself. It's a really important question which we will not answer right now.
For all these questions, we can to say what you have nanolith is the start of a great journey. This game is a start of a really great journey.
And I have to say, not all those questions will be answered in our game now. Like there's a lot of potential for future games and for future iterations of this game, and for a lot of stuff coming up in the game after Nanolith.
But we can say, to understand all these details, we have now to focus on the journey and the wake of these 4 characters.
Yeah. So then you're asking, what is the Babel propaganda about the nanolith? What do people know about it? That's also very good. Like we know that the nanolith is like the source of all the power and of the black screen. And the Babel propaganda is mostly focused on the black screen. This is the thing which they talk about. The possibility for humanity just to exist is just provided by the server power of the nanolith and Babel using it to provide the black screen. So this is the main propaganda thing. On other sides, people get it that nanofragments and nanomachines are crazy powerful. So they really have the feeling that the nanolith is capable of doing even more, much more. And they see it when Babel, for example, uses it to oppress parts of the city or to do evil things with experiments and stuff. So whenever some light is shed on the evil corporation, which is doing stuff with the nanolith, people get that it's not just let's say a power center for the black screen. It's much more. But Babel does try to not communicate what the nanolith is really capable of, and it's capable of much more than what Babel is doing.
Believe us, there's just to say there is more.
So then there we come to a really important question.
Okay.
The Sulu were some kind of savior for a lot of people. Yeah, this is what the first iteration of Eden. That's the time. What is called the time when the Sulu came and everything was working very good with the nanolith. Then how did Babel propagate the picture of the evil Sulu which needed to be destroyed? It's a really good question.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, I think if a centralistic governmental structure is like really up to propagate that somebody is evil and you have to destroy him, a well-oiled system of propaganda is totally capable of like luring hundreds of thousands and perhaps even millions of people into war. So this is what happened there. Like, we don't know all the lies Babel said about the Sulu, but for sure there were lies and a lots of important lies regarding the Sulu. And actually, we don't know, like at the starting space of the game, you don't know all about the Sulu as well. So there's up for you a lot to explore about the Sulu civilization, how they work with the nanolith, why they brought this nanolith, what they wanted to do with the nanolith and humans. So there's a lot of information which will come up during the game, so we can't spoil too much. But let's just say it all, like, you can interpret like all this stuff in different ways. And if a government really wants to like say the Sulu are just bringing this to enslave humanity, or they are changing our DNA. I mean, imagine this. We have like this vaccination thing going on for a few years, and like it's a really dialectic issue. People are like have like really intense conversations about should you do this, should you not do this, and the government is like in this discussion as well. So imagine it would be nanofragments which would be all over inside your body everywhere, and you could like alter your body with it, and you don't know where this technology is coming from and how it really works. I mean,
Million of people say I don't want
billions
to
of
have
people,
this. People say so,
and you cannot change it. I mean, it's just it's in the air and then it's there. I mean, there's a lot of potential for fear and injustice and lies.
But there's a part, we can say there's a time in the humanity where humanity tried to figure it out, how all happened before nanomachines come into our atmosphere. And we have, at this point, we have to say Babel is a man of science. He's a scientist. He's not in his first rule, he's not a ruler. I don't think he has he makes so much propaganda against the Sulu. You have to believe before New Eden, we have a world with leaders, we have nations, and all of them have his own goals. And that's what's happened with humanity. I think, what you say, that's
yeah. In such a world, it's easy to like okay. How are people distracted from their misery? This is really nice. How are they to keep up hope? This this is a really good point. Actually,
it's a question we always taught each other and say how this world is too dangerous, and we have to.
Yeah. So there are two sides of this thing. So how do people keep up hope in a world like ours? First thing, if you're a corporate slave, if you're one of the opportunists of this system, your life is not so bad. I mean, you sold like your soul to the system, but you live like from a luxury level and from a wealth level. You live a nice life. Yeah, you have.
But you don't care about your soul.
And if you don't care about your soul, and if you don't care about the society and about all the rest, hey, you can live quite a normal life there, until the moment when you get like when your nano potential gets low and you have to like go into the next sector.
And how many people in this world actually going each day to work and don't care about anything? They go to work, go home, eat, and they live I don't say an ordinary life. They live a life where they don't think about anything. They do the stuff they have to do. So it's totally normal for humans to do that like that. So
and like also trying not to think about the evil stuff because you have a family, for example, or you have people you love, or you have just like hobbies, or let's say you love your job. I mean, perhaps you just like to be whatever you are doing in the system.
I like to be an asshole.
You're not an asshole per se. You're just like perhaps
yeah,
you're just a programmer or an IT specialist or something. You're just a little thing inside the system. So
Yes.
you should not be too harsh with yourself. You're just living your life. And I think this is what a lot of people do in the sector alpha, And then when it goes down to sector beta and sector gamma, you're right. So how do people survive? How do people keep up hope? So this is very important. The less organization from the bubble tower comes into the system, the more breathing room for good things is there. Yeah, so you will, even though you have a desperate world in which you will move, you will find occasions in which people are like, they trust each other, they are working together, there are good people out there, there are people fighting the system, there are also like really, really bad people, but as long as not bubble is not everywhere, you will find hope, you will find beauty, and you will find love for people. So as long as not everything is oppressed, and this is what I told before about the space in the system, as long as bubble cannot see everything, we have the possibility to create spaces in which also positive and optimistic stuff is happening, because nobody can bear a world in which only like desperation and brutality reigns. This is a good starting point, but we need also positive vibes.
But maybe you know that from your own life, when your life is challenge your heart, that is be the point where you find fire inside your heart, and where you can stand up and find the strength to fight for something. And a lot of this stuff happen in our world.
Yeah. So let's keep it with this. Don't let it get too long. We will try to answer perhaps the next questions as well. And if you have any more questions coming up towards the system, towards our world, we are really glad to talk about them. Thank you so much for all your support and for commenting and for taking part in this journey and just like building this up as well, because there are sometimes questions which we were like, let's think about the school system. I didn't think so much about the school system before.
Yes.
But it was really nice to think, okay, how does schooling work in this world? And so you are also building this world up with us together. So thank you so much for this creative input. And
yeah, maybe you want to know more about the Eater Coke, then write in the comment. It's made by Bubble.
Perfect Ether Coke. So
yes.
Have a nice day, dear Nanobackers. See you soon, and thank you very much.
See you soon. Bye. Ciao. Bye.